Hey everyone. Hope you're all having a good Thursday. Welcome to PARSIQ's AMA. I am here today with Danny, who's the Danny, you're on mute, I think, but yeah. So the product owner of the PARSIQ platform, and it's been a busy 3 weeks here at ParsiQ HQ because we are heavily building all everything that we discussed on the last AMA, our new product, the ParsiQ network, and its first and most important parts like the Tsunami API, and after that the data lakes and much more, so that anyone in the space can get easy access to blockchain data, both real time and historical, without the limitations of what other let's say other solutions can provide. And let's take this time to dive deeper into the technology, into what's the significance, what are the key differences from what's on the market, and more. And before I'll turn it over to Danny, and before we dive into any community questions, then I want to. We have a quick announcement here. So ParsiQ was the CTO of ParsiQ, Alan. He is shifting roles a bit. Most of his time will be going to the IQ protocol. He will stay still involved with ParsiQ at a high level for architecture and more stuff, but specifically for the ParsiQ network, the product, the flagship product that we're building, Daniil is now the CTO of the ParsiQ network, and he will oversee the development of this extremely important for us product.
Yeah. Hi, Tom. Yeah, glad to be here. Yeah, I'm super grateful for the faith and the trust. Will do my best to make ParsiQ Network a great product. Yeah. So for me, it's been quite. It was a very hectic year. So I started just like over a year ago, and all this time it was like maneuvering between like absolutely everything, like from the like strategic questions, vision questions, to working like with the tech team on architecture, working on even doing some tasks on my own for some projects when the devs didn't have time, working as a even support engineer at sometimes, like in the beginning when we didn't have someone like always on call for the support for the clients. I did that as well. It's been very eventful, and I'm glad that I earned this trust and can now proceed in CTO role. So yeah, super excited.
Congrats, Danny. You deserve it. It's been quite a journey. You've been with us for like over a year now, and really the work that you've done, it has helped the project a lot. So we have, of course, high hopes for you in delivering the most important milestones of what's to come. And of course, did you didn't get a pay raise, no?
Well, you know the answer.
Yeah, you didn't. But more responsibility, more stress. Of course, that's crypto. So that's
cortisol is our everything.
Yeah, true. We're in it for the tech. So I would maybe you can at a high level explain the first milestone to everyone, the Tsunami API. Why is it important, and what it consists of, and who will be using it?
All right. So yeah, let's start with Tsunami API. Basically, Tsunami API is its core product. and it's not only core product for the market, it's the core product for like us as well, because everything that we do and that we will be doing like in the short to midterm range is everything is based on blockchain data. And for us it is very important to build a tool that will be both convenient to use for us to build on top of this data, and for others as well. And um, Tsunami API actually has like sort of a lot of competition out there, but for us, it's actually, even though it's like its core product, but we do differentiate in different things. But even with Tsunami API, we made like a lot of improvements. I've been talking to a lot of projects using different solutions that out there, and I have collected a lot of feedback, a lot of kind of cons of using these different solutions. Every project, every solution has some cons, and we were able to eliminate them. We don't have these cons, and for us, it was quite important to make it like as efficient and as fast as possible, and we have like achieved these goals. Our like performance testing showing like really great results, and I think we will be sharing them quite soon, definitely before like launch in July. um, and yeah, so we were actually able to bring two parts together of historical and real-time data, and there is big difference between different real-time solutions, and some solutions just allow you to say, connect to a node and get the stream of events from there, like transactions that are happening. But with this approach, there are issues and complications, because you have to take care of data consistency, meaning that if for some reason your service or node goes offline for whatever like a time period after you recreate your if when you run again your software, you will have to eliminate the gap that happened while the service, like one of the services, were offline. And this can get very tricky, especially with blockchains, um, with fast blockchains, because when you have just like a full node or even not a full node, just basic node, it gets really complicated, because they do not store a lot of state in the memory, meaning that you will not be able to catch up with the history. So we have thought of it all, and we have built all the mechanisms in the way that none of your data will ever get lost somewhere, even if your service is offline. Even if our service for some reason is offline, which didn't happen on during my last year, we have taken care of it all. And with historical data, uh, it's really efficient and super fast API that actually allows you to extract like enormous amount of data from blockchain, even without so let me just bring an example. Like you want to collect some statistics on your protocol, or you're like data scientist. You want to explore some things that happen within a protocol, and it gets complicated because you have to do a lot of queries to receive the data. You have to get you have to get entries like one by one or 100 by 100, and if it's a big protocol, then it's going to be complicated. And there are use cases when people need, let's say, they need the whole history of a pair on Uniswap, and for these use cases, for them to get this data, it actually gets really tricky. And I've been talking to some projects that using like 3-5 solutions, to scrape pieces of data from everywhere. And we have designed our like historical API the way that if you need a lot of data, you can get it like in one request, in one file. And it depends on your needs, of course. You can get it like with pagination, or you can get it like one single CSV file because you want to store it on your side. So we actually took a lot of time to analyze the market, to analyze the solutions that out there, and take the best from like take all these use cases and that we've been hearing for like past year and more, and trying to build the best solution for these use cases.
Yeah. So pretty much everything that we've learned by working with different partners, by hearing their needs, it's all rolled into one. All the headaches of working with blockchain data that we heard from everyone that are really require heavy amounts of data. They have been taken into account, and we have a really big, well, in my opinion, big pipeline of projects already on board to test the alpha, the beta versions of the product. I know, Danny, you have been on a number of calls for early validation of what they would like to use, and what was the general sentiment, what was the feedback, in short.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I've been into a lot of calls talking to building potential pipeline, and people are like really excited. I've been showing some diagrams talking about how the tech actually works, what kind of architecture do we use and why we use it, and um, well, there are kind of two type of clients: those that are going to use or want to use our Tsunami API, and for them, it's from the calls that I had, we actually like cover 100% of use cases that these projects are actually talking about. So as I said, like we did our homework and studied the market a lot. So even with what we have, with inputs that we collected like previously, we have already covered most of the use cases from the project that I talked to, and for many projects. For some projects, it's not Tsunami API, but more kind of data lakes. So they have their like own protocols, or they're using other protocols, and they want to collect data on these protocols. And data lake is, I'm pretty sure you, Tom, have talked about it a little bit, but I want to bring some, uh, technical idea of what is data lake. And data lake is kind of protocol and project specific, fault tolerant, and rework aware environment with all the business logic of this protocol inside, and it has like its own API layer and like protocols and their users, and whatever protocol and project decides who can have access to the data. So we are trying to provide like the maximum comfortable way for the protocols to access data of their protocols, so they don't have to take care of infrastructure, because infrastructure cost is huge, and it's getting only bigger. And we also taking care, like we are working with the protocols, we are helping them to build. So this is kind of R&D kind of stuff. So we research protocol, we work with the protocol, and we help to aggregate and work, decode all the data that they have. It depends on the protocol. There are like a lot of different use cases. So we want to make life of the protocols as easy as possible. So they don't have to take care of their data. So they just can come to us and work with us, and we can provide them with all the data, all the APIs that they need. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your view on centralized versus distributed versus decentralized type of debate? Because PARSIQ falls somewhere in the middle of that. So what's your opinion on people coming and saying, like, have there been issues like when someone asks, you're not fully decentralized network, we cannot use you?
Yeah. So I've been talking a lot to projects, and I've been showing them. I've been honest with them. I have been showing the diagrams, how everything works, and none of the projects actually asked me like, why you're not fully decentralized, because we are not fully decentralized. And people do understand that working with the data in blockchain that produces like a lot of data, like some blockchains like 100 gigabytes per day, and there is no efficient way right now, at least, to make it fully decentralized. And we do not want to sacrifice efficiency just to swim in all the buzzwords that crypto market has, because all these buzzwords, it's like very like hot topic today, but with time and as crypto gets adoption, some things will settle off a little bit, and it will not be buzzword game, and it will be about efficiency of the solutions, but not just blindly following some trends. It is how it is right now, and there is no other way for the industry that is like that young. But with time, this picture will change, and efficiency will be valued much more than just throwing around some beautiful words.
Yep. Exactly. And so far, what I've heard is that you're giving us data from decentralized networks. We don't need you to be decentralized for this. And the fact that our architecture is distributed, this helps a lot. Because I mean, there is no need for a fully decentralized data. At least that's how most projects feel, and we've surveyed like a lot of them.
Yeah, and I actually can add something to here. So with our system being distributed, and we actually built it this way that every like component, every like layer of abstraction is fault tolerant. So it doesn't depend like whether some component like dies or all data is like wiped off for some reason. Never happened once again. For some reason, every component actually can reinitiate itself in very short time and just resume working like as expected. So we built it the way that no data is ever get lost. And in the future, we also like there is this question of whether can you trust the data. And of course we do collect everything from the like our pool of nodes, and for every blockchain there are like couple nodes. But in the future, when the time comes, we want to provide users with some utility or interface where you actually will be able to check that like data consistency between the data that you have on blockchain and the data that you have like on our side. So we want to be like as transparent as possible, and we do not hide like anything. We do have our data, we do collect it from the nodes. It's built the way it's not possible, to tamper with this data, and once it gets like in our kind of databases, it cannot be altered in any way. But yeah, we still want to provide some way for for projects, for users to be like to be sure about our like data consistency and integrity.
Before we jump into the community questions, so one last thing. So, what would you say are the key differentiators? Compared to what we are building, the PARSIQ network, the Tsunami APIs, and everything related, compared to other blockchain data providers in the space. Just some examples.
Yeah, biggest one of them, like for API, there is a lot of competition out there. But if we talk about data lakes, it is the biggest differentiator, and like no one offers you your custom tailored DeFi. No one offers you in the space like to work closely with you and to build your data for you. And it is something that we are ready and willing to do. And yeah, so this is one of the things. And what like another things, like even for Tsunami that I like mentioned previously, is the way how this combination of historical and real time works in kind of together. So you can easily query the data from the past, and then start immediately receiving all the data from the like events as they happen. And to take you don't have to think about it on your own. Like all these problems are solved on our end. And even with the as I touched upon it a little bit previously. So we build the system that like no events get lost, and if ever your services are offline, we provide like 100% chance of delivering the events. And yeah, you will be able, even if something like if you consistently like for some reason you've been down like for hours or whatever happens, like anything can happen, you will be able to go to interfaces, see what are the errors, replay these errors. Because for many projects it's very critical that they get the right events at the right time, or at least they get the events in the sense like even if you were offline for some time, you still want to get all the events, because otherwise your data, your interfaces, they will get and user experience will get inconsistent. So we kind of I believe we've taken care of it all.
Yeah, we're basically taking a look at the problems existing in the current blockchain data space and try to solve them all on top of the technology we've already built, and package it into one accessible, easy to use product, or let's say a network. And in addition, all kinds of other perks like data storage, and some down the line on the roadmap, we have the hybrid models for building your backends, and many other things. So we, using ParsiQ, the goal is that people building Web3 applications, Web3 protocols wouldn't have to use 5, 6, 7 other services. They can get all their data needs, all their backend needs from one place. They just need the smart contracts, and they need the UI. That's it. So let's jump in. Have first questions. Is Flux on your radar? Any immediate plans to work with them? So I haven't spoken to Flux. I don't think our team has spoken to Flux yet. Might be worth looking into it. I know Flux, but no plans right now. Now, for this, I apologize. There's been a mix-up apparently with the time, and the time announced was 1 hour later than it was. So sorry about this, but yeah, this was the only slot I had today. So let's get on. Will PRQ be on the Cronos chain, and will IQ be accessible on Cronos network? Good questions. Likely, very likely, onto both of them. Let's see. Recently, PARSIQ 101 article stated Tsunami is launching in July. PARSIQ doesn't like putting dates on things, but have with Tsunami. Why is this? Well, on the roadmap, it's like beginning of Q1. I'm sorry, Q3 of this year. So beginning is July, but it's sort of malleable. That's the goal. It's not an exact date, but as you can see, there are no dates on the roadmap picture. July is the target, though. I think we should reach it. Yeah, Danny, you wanted to add something about the deadlines?
Yeah, you mean like me?
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, everything was kind of thoroughly like planned and decoupled. Kind of all the task. Um, so we've been the estimate is like very realistic, and we right now we are on schedule, and things progressing like exactly as we expected them to progress. So I'm so far positive about beginning of Q3, right? July.
Yep.
Yeah, we're actually we're starting alpha testing soon with some big players out there that already want to use our API. So kind of excited about that. I hope that I will be able to share more details about alpha testing. It will definitely not be like publicly available at that time because it's starting relatively soon. But then maybe uh, we can share some thoughts from the projects.
Yep. Seems to be on track. Next question. Have we spoken to Coinbase? If yes, what's the score? We've pursued that listing for over a year. What's the score? Well, I think pretty good. Score is pretty good, as you've seen from the article that was published. Score is positive. Will with Tsunami API, will ParsiQL become mainly an internal language for ParsiQ developers? I guess you could say that. Yeah, Danny, feel free
Yeah.
to expand.
So yeah, just to be precise here, it's not the main language we developed in, but it is the ParsiQL is the technology that we built, and we come to conclusion it's technology that we actually built for ourselves to conveniently and easily work with the data in blockchain, and we are still all about the data. So it is like one of our like biggest utilities, inside the team.
When do you think ParsiQ will be more in demand? Will it be when Web3 takes off or something else? Well, I think we're pretty well positioned already because there are a lot of teams building in the space, building dApps, building protocols, all kinds of applications, and they all need data. They all need to build their backends, and I think seeing the response and the pipeline whenever the first major milestones of the parsec network will be delivered, it will show a lot of adoption. Of course, when Web3 reaches the adoption curve, then the real potential will come out. But I think we're extremely well positioned already with the parsec network. And the APY question, yes, yes. It's APY is front loaded, right? It gives out more rewards in the beginning of the rental rather than in the end. So this is the reason why it varies so much, low to decent different rates, and there are different periods. Like there are periods where subscriptions they have to be renewed. That's when there's increased. But I can tell you that the steady flow will continue. There was a couple of weeks of slower uh, flow, but now I think you'll be pretty happy with the next weeks and months. In the recent Medium article, it states consumer facing mobile app connected to the flagship product. I wonder if this is meant to be about the PARSIQ Atlas, I believe, because the PARSIQ Atlas will be a blockchain explorer, but it will be not like Etherscan, and it will be more automated, and it will be DeFi specific. So think about it as like a DeFi and DApp explorer for everyone to use. So you can go there, choose a DApp, an application, a protocol of your choosing, and get data from what's happening inside there. I don't think anyone does it.
Yeah, actually, so yeah, our idea is that, working like Etherscan is really convenient and like big tool, but on the other hand, if you want to get like meaningful data, it gets complicated. So our idea is that, since us being like data providers and us integrating different protocols, we can actually give much better, overview of what a certain address is doing within those protocols. And nothing's set in stone here with Atlas, but I just see like how you can, you can come to this interface and enter address, and see how it interacts with different protocols, not, more in more graphic way than just, seeing raw like transactions, list of transactions. So yeah, kind of excited about that one.
You've referred to PARSIQ as the Zapier of blockchain in the past. What would you compare the Tsunami API to in terms of a similar non-blockchain project? So, Danny, if you take PARSIQ network as a whole, with the data APIs, with the data storage, with everything, what would you compare it to from the traditional tech world? Which product?
uh I would say probably Firebase or any infrastructure slash ecosystem products, like just trying to solve as much of your kind of backend use cases. So I mean, probably Firebase is the best analogy here. Just, being backend for your everything, and we want to be backend for your like Web3 application, having all the data on us, having we uh, also giving like opportunity to store some of the data in our like off-chain distributed network, so projects don't have to, take care of like enormous costs for transactions, which is well, definitely like poor user experience, and store it in safe way on our side. And as I mentioned, our components is very advanced in the sense like they can react to reworks and everything that happening on blockchain. So yeah.
Question about IQ. Can I rent out my own NFT to myself to make use of all the separate utilities? Assuming it is a multi-utility NFT. That's a cool question. I've actually thought about it myself. So if the original may not have some of these utilities in these different, IQ verses, and the rented version does, why don't I rent it out to myself, pay myself the rental fee, and enjoy those utilities? It's pretty cool. Guys, 12 people watching. You have to step up the marketing. What is the marketing team doing? Listings and product team might be great, but 12 people here. So, I guess the problem with 12 people, it's 16 now, but the problem is that there was a mix up with the time. So we announced a later time than we actually held the AMA, hence the low number of people. If you look at our past AMAs and the views, they are much higher. And we are actively building the community. If you look at Twitter, we have almost 50,000 followers now. Pretty much, yeah, we're stepping up. There's a lot of content marketing and other types of things coming. Lots of educational things. So the community will continue to grow. Do you have an idea which blockchain protocols projects will be the first to have their data accessible via the new API? Well, I know some of them, of course. Others are in talks, but we obviously will not be announcing them until they've tested the product.
Well, we can definitely mention blockchains because it's
Well, blockchains we can mention, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. So we're launching on Ethereum, Polygon, BSC, and Avalanche, having their like all of their data, all the historical stuff, everything. Yeah, and then for the projects, it's yet to be announced.
yep, and I mean the aim will be to integrate most blockchain networks that have adoption, and with which one would you like to see? Well, there are different types here. So there will be those who themselves want to access the data of their own dApp or protocol. And there are those who want to access the data of third party applications, third party protocols. And there will be third parties who want to access the data of a specific protocol. So eventually, I'd say, wherever there's demand, we will integrate them all. And once we have the SDK, this will allow us to outsource these types of data lake integrations of dApps and protocols and outsource it in a community way through a DAO where people could vote which one to integrate, or projects themselves, protocols themselves can come to the DAO and propose, please integrate us. And the community can vote, yes, we shall spend these resources and integrate, and the DAO will vote also like we're going to grant this amount of funds to these developers, third-party developers, to actually do it. Let's jump into the next one. What happened to the big marketing firm? Do you still work with them? So it was a PR firm, to be entirely correct. And no, we are not working with them. Haven't been since last year. We have actually expanded our marketing department. We're doing PR in house. We're doing marketing in house, and working out quite well. So there is no need at this point. We might hire one for a short time when we have some extremely big news to share, and there will be those times. I know for a fact, and when for those purposes we can hire them to run these campaigns, like for 2 months, for example, or something. But I feel we're doing a great job in-house. Right. We ran out of questions again because of the time mix-up. I know a lot of you had a bunch of questions prepared. So yeah, it's a shame, but I think Danny and I will take the time if you could post them to any of our community team. They can collect, and we can go through them and give written answers on Telegram to sort of make up for this small mix-up. Other than that, yeah, Benny, you wanna any closing thoughts on the product side and
Yeah.
the technology side?
So for us, I mean, it is just exciting times, and it is it is so cool to see the whole team being excited about what we are doing. Like everyone is just, like, I don't know how to describe that. Everyone is just super energetic and positive, and I'm talking about like the tech team, and they are super excited to be building what we are building, and yeah, that's just amazing to see all the energy.
No, absolutely. I mean, team is an exceptional form. Yeah, the product team is really loves what we're doing right now with the PARSIQ network and the Tsunami API. They are all in on this, and I think this was the absolute best decision to put our main focus on this. Use our existing technology because everyone is hyped because we since last year we the ParsiQ platform reached a certain level of usage, and after that, while there was steady growth, it was slow. The growth rate hasn't been the same from like October, November up to February when we decided for the shift. And I explained the reasons because we couldn't cover the use cases the clients wanted. The custom development work had to be done, and so far the validation has been great. Everyone that we've spoken to, pretty much everyone, wants to use the ParsiQ network. So we're off to a great start. We already have the tech for it. So now it's about building the API, building the front end, and getting it live, onboarding as many projects as we can. Start working on data lakes. We'll work with pretty much every protocol and app in the space. At least those are being used and have any kind of adoption or usage. So that means like a huge amount of collaborations with other projects, which would allow us to tap into their community as well, including the developer community. It's yeah, it's been a lot. So, and we have a question from Dominic. Hi, Dominic. There were a lot of partnership announcements last year. This year, few. Well, this is exactly the reason, because the shift of product. Believe me, when this goes live, we'll have like a huge flow of dApps and protocols onboarded, and we will be doing announcements with most of them, big and small. Everyone deserves their own data lake. All right, I think that's it for today. Regarding the listings, which has been a major topic on all the AMAs. So we had some good progress there, as you have seen, listing on crypto.com, a listing on Huobi, the Coinbase article. So this just shows that it takes time, but if you have conviction and you actually see things through, they will happen. And I have no doubt that whichever ones we've spoken to, Binance, Kraken, and so on and so forth, they will come as well. It's just a matter of time. It's about constantly improving and delivering value for users in the space, being in the picture, and eventually you get noticed. This is how it works. Seen it a million times on my own skin, with ParsiQ. Is there a dedicated tech team to handhold and seed new companies using ParsiQ? Well, currently, no. I mean, we will obviously have a team members from the product team who will offer a lot of support for the dApps and protocols who want their own data lake. So we'll be working closely with them. I don't know if you would consider it hand holding or not, but yes. Now, in terms of like new companies that want to build their startups, their Web3 applications on PARSIQ technology, we might just there might just be a PARSIQ ecosystem fund and a grant program for it, but a little bit later. What's next after Tsunami API?
Do you want to answer this one? Okay, so for us, it's since we are having data, what we want to do is just to work with the protocols. Of course, there will be new things coming as well, but like first goal after launching like Tsunami is like constant expansion of protocols that we are working with and providing like the best data APIs for them and for their users. So we are definitely looking at expansion of data lakes, and we are looking at other sub products like Atlas that is built on top of our tech.
Yep, and there's things that we haven't really mentioned yet that are in the works, but everything in due time. Alrighty, this concludes the AMA for today. Thank you all for tuning in. And as a lot of you missed it and didn't have the chance to post your questions, post them in the Telegram chat and tag one of our team members, so we can take some of them and maybe answer them in written form. Right. Have a good end of week, and see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, have a
Bye,
great
folks.
week. Bye.